Hey guys, so today Laugh Lasagna is gonna be talking about this guy right here. Hope I can edit that in properly. Right here. So everybody is talking about like the certain cooks that has inspired them to want to become home cooks or chefs. This chef in particular is Gordon Ramsay, who I have actually three of his books, and I want to kind of dive into those a little bit today. One of them that I fell in love with first, my parents have been giving me these awesome books lately. Gordon Ramsay's Passion for Flavor. This, I believe, is one of the earliest books. I didn't find the copyright. I think the copyright was earlier. I think 96 or anyhow, it's one of the earlier books. This is a lot of the passionate portion of his food that he works on, and just some of the flavors are in here. You have like your soups, your pastas, your meats, your desserts. And what's cool is he also brings in this really cool content index where it shows like it breaks down like your building blocks and the certain styles, what you would need for this book in a sense. Plus introduction, which is great. He explains like how to create your sauces, how to create your stocks, um, what kind of dressings you need, and this is a very well thought out book where it kind of explains the basics of what you need for the if you would see the passion of your food. Um, and one of these days I'm gonna start going through and I'm gonna find something like just uh a random recipe and try it out. And like fillets of John Dory with pommes de terre. I don't know how to say that. But anyhow, it looks like this. And what's cool too is in cookbooks, like I said before, some of them will have pictures. And what's cool about Gordon Ramsay's books, a lot of them are they show what's in here, so you have like a reference of what it should look like. And there's some that don't have one. Um, like the try to find one of them that didn't have one. There you go. The roast rump of veal with sauteed capes, capes. Anyhow, so there's some in here that don't have pictures. And what's great about that is by now you're in page like 139. So you by now you should have an idea of what most of these should look like. Flavor wise, you should be studying when you're making certain food, especially with Gordon Ramsay stuff, or any chef of your liking. Find the palette that they're looking for. I believe his was more French style, I believe. Um, and he was drilled a lot in how to create certain dishes and to be the perfection of it. And the thing is funny is I see a lot of people who are upset of how he treats people, say on Hell's Kitchen or something like that. But then you see how he treats younger chefs or younger cooks who are learning how to become chefs in their future. And it's going. You need to realize also that in Hell's Kitchen, a lot of the people who are invested into going into this, he's trying to find the top chef, right? And these guys are supposed to be like certified chefs and people who have gone to culinary school and should already know the basics of how to make certain foods. And some of them mess up with just even that or are too lazy to remember the ingredients. When it comes to children or the ones from like the other shows that he's a part of that are like the home cooks, he doesn't expect them to remember everything, but to watch and to learn and to understand the basics of what he's trying to show them, which I'm a huge fan of. I learned from my dad, who learned on different ways of cooking by just watching and learning things from. He was in the Navy, so he traveled all over the world and learned cooking, and so that's kind of why I was inspired to find stuff for Gordon Ramsay, because he also has a book that I got this year for my birthday, The Uncharted, Gordon Ramsay's Uncharted Culinary Adventure. And what's cool is this is just some of the names of the places he went to. So you have Peru, Morocco, New Zealand, Hawaii, South Africa, Norway, India, Iceland, Portugal, Maine, yeah, Michigan, which I'm from, Michigan, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and English Dressed Coast. So you have all these cool recipes from different places. And what's even cool is like this is the places he learned their culture in a sense where he learned the flavor palette of certain people, and he made recipes from that. So sweet potato flatbread, very very cool. Again, it's like it's authentic. It's there and it's very simple. The directions are very simple on how to make it. This is one of his latest cookbooks, and I love this. Um, and there's just so much in these books that are like, if I could just have one day to learn by Gordon Ramsay, because he's willing to go above and beyond and learn from people. And he in my opinion is one of the best chefs in the world. Is he number one in the world? No, we all know that there's more than one person who has their opinion of who is the best chef in the world. But I believe he's one of the top 10, in my opinion. And one reason why he is number one in the world, one of the top 10, is because he's willing to go out there and recreate and perfect recipes and ideas and adventure out there and try to learn how to combine different flavors that he may not have ever found. And he goes, oh, the plantain plant may taste like this and may taste better in this certain dish, and it may enhance the flavor or increase the spiciness or increase the punch of certain flavors, which could help in later on dishes. Last but not least, one of the first books my parents got for me a couple years ago. I think it was just last year. Yeah, 2025. This book was written 2012, looks like. But this is Gordon Ramsay's Home Cooking. And this thing is nice because he's basically going about the idea of things you can find in your own kitchen to make fabulous meals. And what's great about this is like it's him trying to explain how to take the ideas that you have and put them on a plate, like slow braised stuffed lamb breast. And I mean it looks amazing, it looks gorgeous, and there's so much you can do with certain flavors and palettes. Spicy beef salad, I mean, and there's so many things you can do and so many things you can create by just reading and by trying to learn. And the one thing that I have learned by trial and error is the first attempt won't always be your best. Okay, unless you're really really good. If you're really really good, you're a born chef or a cook, then maybe your first attempt will be the best. But from my experience, in almost every single restaurant I worked in, or every single dish I have made with some people, our first attempt is always the worst, or not the best. But the more you improve on it is by reading things like this, understanding, the ingredients you need to put to help combine the flavors and help bring out certain zing, I guess, in that certain punch that you're looking for. So definitely recommend trying to find a book that suits you, what you're looking for, in your culinary endeavors, I would say. One thing that I would also recommend is like a Betty Crocker book. Is great for essential beginning. I started out with Betty Crocker when I was a kid, like very little, just learning what cups meant, what tablespoons and teaspoons meant, like a big T and little t, big T is tablespoons, little t is teaspoons. Your cup measurements, how, a lot of people say, well, my grandmother never used a cookbook, so she was a professional. She also memorized them. She knew how much something might be, and you have your grandma's recipes in your head going, I know how to make this, but it doesn't taste like how grandma used to make. It must have been made with love. It is true, made with love, but also with her experience, she probably remembers, if I add just a little bit more brown sugar to this cookie, it'll taste a little better, or a little less flour, a little more milk might help the batter become more soft. Something like that. There's some things that might help increase the flavor or texture of certain things. And with myself reading all the Gordon Ramsay books I'm trying to read right now, the more I'm understanding, when I made beef Wellington for the first time, it took me twice to actually understand the texture. The when you mean what do they mean by rolling the meat to a very tight, precise ball? When you're spinning it into the plastic before you bake it. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of patience involved. So, they recommend a lot of patience, a lot of understanding the bare essentials of cooking before diving into some of these books. But if you find any of these, check me. Let me know in the comments below what you found, which recipe popped your ideas, and what increased your enthusiasm for making more food. So in the meantime, find the lamb sauce. Find the lamb sauce for this guy. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Have a laugh in life, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace and love.